Are you hearing sound now, Dakota? Hearing sound testing. Yep. What?
Like the video quality is so. Oh my gosh! Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing the debates.
Hey! Hi!
How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Your business good?
I assume so.
Good.
I know.
Yes. How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Is it like
Here.
Just saying hi.
I'm in town on 6 months as well.
Did you grab it? Oh, this man just like it. Are you on? No, actually.
Yeah, I'm asynchronous.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. So like I go home to like take care of my mom and see my boyfriend.
Hey, Jay.
House.
What are you up to?
So like I get paid out
Okay.
and like at the same time like it's win-win, yeah. But
Yeah.
I've been to campus like 4 times and this week I've been here 3 times. Out of the 4 times, it's been a while.
Where do you stay when you come over here? Home for a day.
I live in Cadillac.
Oh, you still live?
I signed a lease way before this.
Oh.
So it's been a lot. It's an adjustment.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But then like I get sad seeing her and I'm like, oh, like I want to come back.
Still gonna be on next year. Same.
Well, I graduate.
Oh,
Yeah, I do graduate.
Okay.
I am getting out of here this spring.
You only got so much time left.
I want my course for graduation.
Yeah, we feel a lot of fun.
No, because I thought I couldn't find it. To
Um,
be honest, I
you something.
don't want to
Is the chords?
Oh, the chords for graduation, is
Is
that
it on the website?
Guys, an email I got sent out to everyone I asked to share with more members. Are you available on Wednesday the 30th at 4:30 p.m.?
Is it next week?
Week after next.
Wait, the week after. Yes.
If you come to our joint session, I will give it to you there.
Okay, I will try and be, that's supposed to be like the last day that I'm house sitting in Ohio, so I was gonna come back that day, or I might leave the night before.
All right.
But
if
I'll
you
try.
can't make it, email me and I'll find a different time that works
Okay,
for you.
because I was gonna say, anything after that, I'll be in KZoo for the next month. So it'll work.
All right.
Hopefully I'll be there.
Fingers crossed.
I know, I mean, I'd like to come back, but I get like nervous and I don't, but it's okay.
We love you.
Oh no, but.
We want you to come back. Give me a cabin next year, and I could just take it as a year.
I really could, but I don't think so.
We can just do it.
It was a good try.
Yeah, it's a good time.
If you can, don't. Don't be here for longer than that.
No, I skimmed some credits off, I think I'm ready to go.
That's good.
Yeah, thank you.
If you don't feel like you need them,
Person's trying.
You really
I'm
did.
trying to get you.
Maybe I'll take like a gym credit.
then yeah, you should.
Yeah,
graduate.
one credit. Just all you
one
need.
semester, you're like,
No, I'm gonna try and get a master's because
yeah, all you need is 1 credit, remember.
I'll keep that in mind.
Are
You can always come back later too.
Here's the party.
Yeah, you can come back and just run for president one day.
Yeah, I could.
You wanna do that again? What time is it?
48.
Thank you.
Well, alright, thank you.
Some holes der Häusern haben Kinder, der Straße sind. Sticking in the machine on the evig erbit. Det sönder motoren. Så hemligt som du vet. Oh, we're going live? Who's talking? Corners up.
Right?
Hello, 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 hello. Come through.
Oh no.
Talk.
When are we thinking about the bill mental health thing next week or the week after? What are we thinking, so?
You would need to talk to him about next week, but on the 30th, I could get on the joint session if you'd like.
Perfect. Senor Dakota. I'll probably email it to you to see if y'all can review it. Mental health week bill next week to be presented. I don't know if it's gonna be voted on.
What, that's that?
Yeah, it's a spending bill.
That's fine.
Cool.
You want a fork?
Oh, I love forks.
Stole it.
Love it. Oh, these are the.
Oh, it has my lick on it.
I saw, they look great.
Thank you. I really like the
Tonight.
color.
I wanted to catch you guys. I thought it was at 6:30. You came into the BSU meeting.
Yes, yes.
Eric is your name. Nice
Yes.
to meet you. I'm
Nice
Sierra.
to meet
I'm the director of community outreach for the Black Student.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. So what's going on tonight?
So presidential debates are tonight.
So you're the president.
I'm one of the presidential candidates, and Chen Kid is the other.
Is the other? Okay, cool. So how long have you been on WSA?
Since freshman year, so this is my third year on it.
Oh, will it be recorded?
Yes, it's being live streamed to
Quiet.
YouTube, and you'll be able to
Where
access
can I
it
find that?
on WSA's YouTube page.
Okay, I'll be looking at. Well, good luck tonight. Thank you.
I got a
Appreciate
question
it.
for you real quick.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm Charles, by the way.
Nice to meet you.
We're explaining the mental health week. We're doing a professional student meeting.
Okay.
And I think Ashley may have reached out to someone at BSU, but we're hoping to get maybe a BSU representative
Yeah.
for a student panel. Mental health week.
For sure.
Would you guys be interested?
Yeah, I definitely would. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I have my business card. I do not, but
What's your name?
Charles, well, if you Google me on the WSA website,
Spell your last name for me.
POLE. Vice President for Community Involvement.
Okay. I'll shoot you an email with my contact information, and I'll definitely be interested. When is the panel?
I forgot, I had a Rice Krispie
We're
treat.
doing the date for the week of the 4th through the 8th.
Of April?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll shoot you an email.
And I'll send you the details.
Okay, thank you. Nice to
Of
meet you.
course, nice to meet you too. Thank you so much.
Make sure no one touches my binder.
Touch his binder, Charles.
It counts as unethical.
Unethical.
What?
Espionage. Also, Nick,
Colin!
Do you have holiday?
I said hi.
You're busy, really?
Yeah.
Whatever. I said hi to technically everyone.
That's not true.
Tabs, I'm probably the sound of. I mean, if it's like. Yeah, just like. Yeah, that'd be great.
I was dog sitting.
You missed it.
That is true.
My favorite thing to do is just swipe right.
Dog sitting was more fun.
I did that one time.
There's such a delay.
No, I did it one time and it was actually. Oh, that's so pretty. Oh my god, I think I just saw my dad and I like what passed too fast. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Got it, okay.
It's fine, guys.
It's so unsynced. So gross. Alright.
I did find that. Like everyone has like glass.
So gross. Alright.
We'll go without water.
Oh, you guys want water? I can't provide it for you, but you take time to go get it.
What time is it?
2 minutes to.
Earnhardt Center Cafe open?
No, it's closed. It's closed, but there are vending machines right down the stairs.
Yeah, we'll go without.
Attention, this is not loud. Attention, there we go. The debates will begin in 1 minute.
Testing, testing, testing.
Test 1, 2.
Over the course of this, I just want to remind you, or tell you guys, to please don't touch this and make it red, because then they won't hear us at home. Already a fragile situation that way, as you can see. And
Testing 1, 2. All right, that's not bad.
I am Bronco Fabulous. I like that. Bronco Fabulous. All right. Yeah, sorry. It was an idea that came. Someone said that I should, and I did that. Okay, you take it. Sorry. Yeah. Well, you and Alicia.
The truth comes out.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Nick. Oh, look at that. Time started. Ah! Hello, everyone. Ooh, that's loud. That's what that is. Hello, everyone. My name is Dakota Shapiro. I'm the Speaker Pro Tempore of the WSA Senate, as well as this year's WSA EPC co-chair. And thank you all for coming to the presidential debate, which escaped my mind at the moment. So to start off, I'd like to tell everyone that you are free to log on to Slido. The code is 996619. You can ask questions on there for the candidates. That's where all questions will be coming from the audience through Slido. If there's a question you particularly like, on Slido, you have the ability to give it a thumbs up. And the more thumbs up a question gets, the higher precedent it goes. So that will get answered before. If a question has like 6 likes, it will probably get answered first, and then we'll go chronologically. So it's chronologically and then also by precedent. To begin, we have our candidates, Eric Effinger and Shane Kitson. We'll start off this debate with opening remarks, which will last 1 minute and 30 seconds. Then we'll move into questioning. We'll do a coin flip. My coin flipper isn't here, which is a shame. Come on, Sam.
Do you need a quarter or something?
Yeah, if you got a quarter.
Nice theory.
I appreciate it. Coin flip, they'll choose a head or tails, and then coin flip will determine who goes first. Then we'll answer questions with starting with the next candidate who didn't go first with opening remarks.
Got a Canadian nickel.
That works.
A Canadian nickel.
So long as I can identify a Canadian's head, it's fine.
With a beaver. Sorry.
All right, that is tails. With that said, heads or tails? Heads or tails?
No preference.
I'll get hits.
Heads, tails. Awesome. It's hard to do this without you. Tails. Who's tails? You?
I'm tails.
You?
I'm hit.
Okay, you're heads. Okay, Eric Effinger will go first. I'll have 1 minute and 30 seconds, and then once we start questioning or questions, I will go through the questions. Each candidate will have 1 minute to reply to that question, unless it is a directed question, in which case the person who the question is directed to will get 1 minute to answer, and then the person who it wasn't directed to will get 1 minute to sort of like add whatever they like. Then there are 30-second rebuttals. You each have 2 to have hopefully decent discourse. I've taken up enough time to start, so Eric Effinger, you will get your 1 minute 30 to begin.
Hello, everyone. My name is Eric Effinger. I use he, him, his pronouns. I am your current student body vice president, and I'm running for student body president with the amazing Alicia Ewing. We're running on a campaign that's based on a 3-step process, which is to engage, educate, and empower students. So what does that mean? Everything starts with engagement. You can't share resources with students if they're not listening. So being able to engage students is step 1. Once students are listening, then we can educate them and tell them about what's available. And that's really important. There are numerous resources on campus. Example is mental health. most people know that you can get counseling help on Syndicuse, but they don't know that you can go to the WellTrack app, the UWMU website, or there's counseling services available for free or almost no charge in Sangren Hall. And once students are educated about the resources available to them on campus, we want to empower them to at least tell one other person. And that's what we count as success. If they share those resources with one other person, we think that we've done our job. And the best part is this whole process works in reverse. Alicia and I recognize that we are only two people, and that we only come from our own backgrounds and life experiences. So if there's a problem that you see, engage with us, educate us about it, so that way we can help you and be empowered. With that being said, I would like to thank the Elections Promotions Committee for hosting this debate tonight, and I look forward to answering all of your questions. Thank you very much.
Chankid, you now have. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, cool. Right now?
Whenever you're ready.
Cool.
Start the timer.
Happy Western Wednesday, everybody. How are you guys doing?
Bronco fabulous!
Great. I heard one side. Cool. So yeah, I'm just going to introduce myself. I'm Chankid. I'm currently Allocations Vice Chair. I'm actually an international student. I'm a senior year student, double major in political science and global international studies. It's a mouthful, I don't like saying it. I'm not just say that I'm a political science major student. I'll be graduating end of this year, this fall semester. I'll be pursuing I'm going to pursue my accelerated master's program next spring. And yes, I'll be sticking around. So yeah, so Alex and I are running on a platform called Our Voice, RWMU, a platform that focuses on amplifying student voices, ensuring continuous progress with current initiatives and efforts, and creating a sustainable organization for the next generation of Broncos. Well, like many of you, Alex and I don't believe in just buzzwords, like we're all cynical of them. Everyone can just say, I'm here to amplify student voices. In fact, like my campaign team had to kind of convince me not to use buzzwords. But yeah, so anyways, so Alex and I created a concrete 30 plans revolving 3 pillars to read our plan as we tackle issues on student well-being and student engagement, as well as plans to hold both Alex and I accountable once we're elected. Alex and I believe that our vision for a more collaborative campus community that focuses on creating a safe space for students to voice out. We don't believe that the student government should just stick back to the status quo, kind of like back to pre-COVID era. We're going to be bold and try new things as well. Thank you all, and thank you to the EPC for organizing this.
Okay, we'll now be moving into the question portion. Again, Slido is open for anyone. That is https:// there's a lot of slashes and shit stuff. Don't listen to my swears. sli.do, that is the website, and then the code is 996619. For those of us at home, that should be on your screen. For those of us here, it's right here up front. So please ask your questions, and do remember that you can like questions to push them up in precedence. So we'll begin. Our first question is directed at Eric. So again, Eric will answer, and then you will get a minute to say whatever you'd like, and then rebuttals are open. So Eric, was this morning's WSA Legacy newsletter an attempt to intentionally promote yourself and your re-election? That's question 1.
No, it was not. Straight up. Alexis and I have the Legacy's keynote speakers written out in advance on who will be writing when. I also went through the Elections Promotions Committee to make sure that everything I did was okay. I did not mention the elections once. Everything that was written about the election was approved by the EPC. That's all there is to it.
Okay, do you have anything you'd like to say? All right, that is the first question. This one's directed at Chankid. Chankid, you quit the College Democrats at WMU after losing your election this fall. How do we know that you won't quit WSA if you lose this election?
Actually, I did not know that I quit College Democrats. I don't know who said I quit College Democrats. So just to put things straight, so I joined College Democrats last year, fall semester. So what happened was I seeked their endorsement, and they had to kick me out of the group chat because they have to discuss about the discussion of the endorsement that I presented to them. So I didn't know that I was kicked out. I'm not aware of that. So yeah. Is there anything to say?
Anything you like?
No.
All right. All right, Chankid answered that one last, so you'll be answering this one. Both candidates were invited to work on the recently passed WSA Constitution. Can you speak in detail to your work on the document? Eric first.
Yeah, I'd love to. The WSA Constitution that was just passed today, so congratulations to everyone and thank you for all your hard work on it. I was able to help advise and give some of my opinions and expertise going back 3 years in this organization to see what we think would work best. I was in the SOC with the committee till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning on multiple nights, trying to make the best thing that we could, have the best product that best serves the students. And I could not be more proud of the work that that committee has put in and that I was able to be a part of it. So yeah, I spent multiple nights till 2 o'clock in the morning in the SOC helping to write and revise it.
Good.
Can you repeat the question again?
The question is, both candidates were invited to work on the recently passed WSA Constitution. Can you speak in detail to your work on the document?
To get this thing straight, I didn't participate much on the Constitution, mainly because I'm part of the Finance Committee. So, in fact, I want to point out why I was not participating in it. First is because talking about accessibility, as Eric mentioned, that the Constitution was discussed, particularly during like midnights from like from long hours. And whenever I can stop by, I'll stop by. And even when they ask me for opinions, I've always thought my opinions. Whenever I can stop by, I'll do that as well. But I'll get things straight. I wasn't able to contribute much because of I could not commit because I'm an international student. I don't have a car. I have to kind of take the bus, which is the last bus 9:30. So that's what I want to clarify on that. So, yeah.
Do you have anything you'd like to say in response?
I'll just also add that I am not part of the government process committee. Yeah.
Anything in response to that? Okay. You answered first last, you're next. How have you supported underrepresented and non-traditional students at WMU? Jankit, that's you first.
Cool. So through my current position, I'm the allocations vice chair. I've actually noticed that the allocations process is not accessible for students when I was kind of just joined in. And in fact, like I didn't know that there's such kind of resources for students on campus. So in fact, like I kind of like within 3 months, I noticed those kind of like issues that students face. It's so hard for like international students or like even cultural RSOs who doesn't even know about allocations commission. So I should reform it just to make it more transparent. In fact, we're trying to engage students more. For example, like whenever there's events, we actually attend those events as well. I actually would drop by and say, hey, do you need any help for that? That's what I've been helping out for those students for that.
Can you repeat the question, please?
How have you supported underrepresented and non-traditional students at WMU?
Yeah, so one of the things that I've done is I authored the Affinity Month Recognition Bill. And this says that WSA has to recognize the federally agreed upon recognition months throughout the year. So Black History Month, Women's History Month, Latinx History Month, all of those. I've also initiated conversations with administration on how we can better represent international students at commencement. We know that this might be the one time in their WMU career that their family is here to see them. And offering them the chance to potentially carry their nation's flag in at the commencement ceremony is a great way to recognize those students and their accomplishments at the university. So those conversations are currently taking place. I've supervised the collaborations process in WSA. I've worked with numerous different organizations, a lot of them multicultural or diverse, to help them get funding that they need for their events. Also, I'll say that, excuse me. Well, we can cut it there then, I'm short on time.
Jankit, do you have a response? Okay. Then that question is good. What are your thoughts on the vote of no confidence? So wait, you went first last time, you're next. I keep that in mind, I keep forgetting. What are your thoughts on the vote of no confidence and how do you plan on keeping the administration accountable for students' well-being?
So the vote of no confidence, I'm presuming this is the one by the AAUP and President Montgomery. That is a faculty decision. I cannot really speak to it. I am not a faculty member, and I don't know the challenges that they were facing. So I support the faculty union and that they did what they needed to do, that they went through the processes that they have. But on the results of the vote, I have no real opinion. As to keeping administration accountable, there's a lot of things that we can do to keep administration accountable. Inviting them to WSA meetings. We've had President Montgomery come in to answer student questions. We've had the Vice Chair of the Board of Trustees come in to answer questions. And so having these conversations, asking questions, why did this happen the way it did? is really important. And if they can't give us an answer, probe a little bit more into it. I know administration does things for a reason, and sometimes that reason is just not necessarily clear. And if something's not the way students would like it, we ask for it to change.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm starting to forget to put the 5 up, my bad. All right, Chankid.
Cool. First and foremost, kind of agree with Eric. I would not comment much on like the result of the no confidence vote, but I would say that that's your right, and I think that they have done whatever they should do to voice out, and it's up to the administration whether to listen to that no confidence vote or not. So I will not be commenting on that. In terms of holding the administration accountable, my pillar is about amplifying student voices. So actually, my plan, I've actually came up with 30 plans that I mentioned about just now. Pretty much, we were setting up task force as well. So creating a safe space for students to talk about. So those task forces don't just include about students, include administrators as well, include faculty members as well, just to bring everyone together on the same page to make sure that there's a safe space for students to voice out, a safe space to ask questions to administrators. So that's kind of my plan in mind. And of course, we're going to organize forums and discussion panels as well. We will include administrators there and making sure that they are held accountable, they answer questions as well.
Would you like to say something back? Okay, go.
I'll just say that I completely agree with Chen Kid on the idea that forums need to be held, finding ways to have more public settings for administrators to get an interaction with students. I know Alicia and I have been doing a great job tabling getting student concerns, and we'd love to bring administration into those as well. Because it's important that, you know, administration and a student together is a lot more approachable than just an administrator coming up to you on the side of the street like, hey, what's wrong with me? What am I doing wrong?
Shankhead, do you have anything? Oh. No. All right. On to the next. What does accountability look like, and how would this accountability be taken to administration? And this will be Shankhead first.
So definitely there are a few initiatives that we have in mind. First and foremost is that setting up task force. So this task force, I think that's going to be a very cool idea. I'm not sure how it's going to look like first. Most likely it's going to through ad hoc committees that we have in WSA. So we're going to bring students all over campus together and make sure that administrators hop on and faculty members so that they can actually have a discussion instead of like them just presenting and like kind of criticize the administration. I feel that conversation comes first. Those task force are going to serve to those purpose as well. Secondly, it's going to organize public forums as well. So actually, I have been advocating to have meetings in public spaces because I feel that's the most accessible way, and that's how you get your name out there. Right, for example, right over here, any students are going to walk by, they're going to know about this as well. So if you have administrators hop over here and kind of like present their case, I think that'd be great.
Could you repeat the question?
Yeah, the question is, what does accountability look like, and how would this accountability be taken to administration?
To me, accountability is making sure that the students are heard. And this can be done, as Jen Kidd even said, during conversations. You know, administration told the last year's president's cabinet that you need to pick your 2 or 3 things you need to get done. 30 things is not feasible. Task forces can be extremely burdensome on individuals. Being able to just sit down and talk one-on-one with administration has often proved much better results in keeping them accountable in their decisions than having these mega committees. For example, the Student Rec Center had a no mask policy, but there was no proof of vaccination. All it took was Alexis and I to sit down with President Montgomery and be like, hey, we noticed that this doesn't seem to fit with what the students want. And within days, it was changed to require proof of vaccination. You don't need task forces to solve simple problems like that and keep administration accountable.
Jenkins, would you like to say something? Go ahead.
So yeah, so 30 plans sounds ambitious, and that's the reason why I'm running for president. If you're not being ambitious, there's no point of you being running for president. And that's the first thing I would set cross out there. If you don't have a plan, what's the point of you running for president? And talking about task forces, definitely it's not about small issues. There'll be definitely about big issues as well. And I feel that by including all students and voices out there, technically you have a more inclusive approach as well. Instead of just one-on-one, definitely it's more efficient, but there are things that we can talk about as well.
You have a rebuttal? Okay. Alrighty, on to the next. Eric, who started last? Jenkins, so you're starting next. How will you hold Dr. Montgomery accountable? He is not supported by his faculty, and we should recognize this.
Like I've been saying, conversations, both one-on-one and in WSA's meetings. Inviting him to our meetings is going to be huge going forward. He is the president of our university, and we should make sure that he's with students as much as we possibly can have him. So having him there to give updates to the students, having him there to take questions from the students. The new constitution that was just passed today features professional development every 2 weeks. So that's every 2 weeks we can have guest speakers. That is in the current plan. So inviting him as often as possible to hear student concerns, keeping him accountable, asking questions like I've said, is going to be critical to keeping President Montgomery and the entire administration accountable. The last thing that we can do is make demands. We know in the past that that does not work, and so we cannot fall back into that trap. Having a collaborative relationship with the administration is going to prove much more bountiful fruits of our harvest than going combatively into it.
Thank you.
Yeah, cool. So I do agree with Eric's approach, which is we shouldn't demand stuff. I disagree with that as well. I don't think that we should just bark and just demand stuff. I disagree with that approach as well. I think that we do need to have more conversation with the administration, and having more meetings, I would say that'd be very helpful. And the policy approach that I have set up in my campaign manifesto is called Camp Earth Committee approach. So technically, we are trying to introduce a concept where we should have more collaboration. So technically, we have a platform where not just one-on-one meetings with the administration. Technically, we have everyone sitting in the same platform together, including faculty members, administrators, WSA members, and even students, any random WMU students who are concerned about the issues that are facing.
Rebuttals?
I will just say real quick that I agree that those bigger meetings are important that are not part of WSA. I know Alicia right now currently serves on the Student Advisory Committee for Dr. Anderson, Division of Student Affairs. If we could have more departments do that type of thing, we're getting multiple students attending lunch with administration. It's a less formal setting, and being able to continue those and expand those to other administrators would be a real beneficial asset to our community.
Do you have anything? You started last, you're starting next. I'd like to ask what do you guys think is your major weakness as a leader, and how is your tenure going to help change that? Shankid,
I go first?
Yes. You went second, right?
Yeah, he goes.
So you're first.
I think my biggest weakness is I look at the big picture a lot and I don't focus on the detail-oriented stuff, which is the reason why if I'm elected, I'll set up a team that's pretty much more detail-oriented, especially my chief of staff. So I always focus on the big picture. I always identify the problem-solving part, the bigger picture first. For example, like the project reset, I've always focused on the big picture that, hey, students are not getting funding that they need. And Naren's cannot play part of the detail-oriented part. I say that, hey, Chankit, there are things that you need to deal with first. So that's a thing that I have to admit, that I'm not very detail-oriented. I've always been the larger picture. I've always set visionary stuff, things that are vague, ambitious stuff, because I believe that's the right way forward, and I need people to fact-check me from time to time.
I would say my biggest weakness is the exact opposite of Cheng Kid. I am extremely detail-oriented. My Clifton strengths, one of them is analytical. So I have a tendency to really get into the weeds of situations, which is not a bad thing. It's great for really key issues, but when you go into a leadership position and you have to expand your horizons to cover multiple topics on campus, you need to be able to take a step back and let your cabinet do that work for you. Let them do the things they're passionate about. So I think that in my experience as student body vice president this year, I've had that opportunity to grow as a leader, to allow those individuals to branch out and do what they're passionate about and kind of check in and give support when needed. So doing that on a broader level, zooming out to see the bigger picture and how it impacts multiple people. I've been working on that, and I'm committed to continuing that work.
Assuming you have nothing. Unless you want to say some more. Okay. All right, this one's directed at Eric, and then again, you'll get 1 minute. Eric, how do you expect to support all students when many within your own college aren't particularly fond of you?
Can you repeat that question one more time?
Yeah. Eric, how do you expect to support all students when many within your own college aren't particularly fond of you?
I would say that going out and hearing student voices is important. I know that there's a perception out there of me that I can be harsh at times and sometimes uncharismatic. But I hope that is a misconception. Finding ways to get down, sit one-on-one with people and hear them out is going to be critical and crucial to me going forward. I believe that every student has a voice to be heard. Whether we agree or disagree on that topic, or whatever we're discussing, it is important that you have the chance to make your opinion known. So how do I plan to represent all students moving forward if elected is to hear those students and represent all ideas. I know when we discussed the mask mandate policy in cabinet before we made a recommendation to administration, we heard all opinions and we just passed the facts on to admin and let them make the decision. It's not my job to put bias on it.
Next question. Eric went first, so Jankid, you'll be going next. Both of you scream burnout to me. How are you planning on avoiding that should you win?
Cool. I'm not sure who is the person who received it. I roughly know who the person is. But yep, I think I rant that I'm having burnout, but having burnout is what actually motivates me. Having burnout is the one that drives me more. Fun fact about it, when I have more downside, share what drives me to get things done. Probably that's a very toxic part of myself. Probably that's my weakness as well. But I think burnout, I have to admit that. But moving forward, definitely I will create more sustainable process and making sure that I do not have more burnouts in that toxic way. Definitely I will address that. I'll make sure that I go therapy sessions if needed. I will definitely prioritize my mental health as well. So.
Eric, you ready?
Yeah, so I am an extremely, I set a very high bar for myself. I will be the first to admit that I'm taking 18 credits this semester. I took 17 last semester. I've been student body vice president, I've been VP FBR, and throughout all of my time at W, I've been able to manage and maintain my 4.0 GPA and not let WSA consume me. And I think that's a really important thing that I've learned over the years is through these progressive steps and going through leadership positions is how to take that step back and reset when I need to. I am a huge fan of yoga. Honestly, come to the rec center with me, come join me in my apartment, I will do yoga with you any day. But I think it's really important to know when to take those moments to reset, to take time for yourself. And that's something I've been practicing. I haven't burnt out yet, and I don't plan to do it in the future.
Okay.
Rebuttals? Can add on a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
So to clarify, I have 15 credit hours, 2 jobs, probably allocations vice chair. I have another organization that I'm running in Malaysia as well. So the time difference factor there. And I'm still maintaining my CGPA of 4.0 as well. So like Eric, I admire him as well on that. So kind of like I want to point out as well. Thank you.
Do you have anything? Okay.
Good for you, by the way.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks.
Alrighty, this one's directed at Eric again. So here we go. Eric, engage is one of your community pillars. How are you engaging students when you haven't been out in the campus community talking with students? Whenever you're ready.
Yeah, so we have been talking to students all year. Fall semester, I made the decision that the cabinet would tour campus for our meetings. Cabinet meetings every other week were held at different academic colleges, and we invited students to come and give us feedback. Also, Alicia and I have been tabling. We did the rec center. Alicia has also been a huge asset to WSA and tabling at the admitted student events. So we have been going out. And the important thing to me is that there's a difference between what happens during election week and what happens throughout the year. Election week, going out and talking to students is about getting votes. Going out throughout the year shows you care about the students, that you want to be doing these things, that you are engaged in hearing from them. So the consistency that Alicia and I bring shows that we're not just tabling during election week to get votes, we're tabling consistently throughout the year to hear actual concerns and make actual progress. And we plan to continue that.
Jankid, do you have anything? Okay. Eric just went, so you'll be going next. What is your biggest concern and fear with your opposition? Oh shoot, the questions just change over, but that's the one we're doing.
I'll be honest, which is political gimmicks, because I've actually heard of previous administration, the previous election. There was a lot of like rumors and everything, and I've always been afraid like I'll be receiving demerits from the opposition slate. I think that's one of my main concern. I've always had that fear of it. That's the thing that I've always been concerned because I've just been faced by external pressure and I can't focus on my campaign. That is pretty much the fear that I have with Eric. And one more thing that I would point out as well is the power disparity. I just joined WSA 6 months ago, and compared to Eric, he's been here for the longest time, definitely. And he's also currently the vice president, and he definitely has more resources and connections compared to me. So that's kind of my fear that I have.
Eric, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, so first of all, no demerit has been submitted to my knowledge by any slate, and we would like to keep it that way. Also, I think that one of the benefits, one of the assets that I bring is my experience and the connections that I have. In terms of going to answer the question, what are my biggest fears about my competition? I'd say that, Chenkid, you've been doing a really good job getting around and getting your face out there. So I guess making sure that everything is going well on both sides, that we're not putting each other under too much stress. I've also been concerned about demerits because I know that both of our campaigns are very detail-oriented. I was talking to Alex and he told me that he counted how many posters we had up in Sangren, and I know we counted yours, so it's a mutual thing that's going on right now, but I think it's going to go well.
Rebuttals?
Yeah, I'll just add on a little bit. I honestly appreciate with Eric's, like we both have been very competitive and it has been a very healthy competition. We respect both each other, and in fact, like I always have a great respect to Eric as well, to some extent. And I've been very thankful that we have been a very healthy competition instead of like a very toxic one instead. So.
Yeah, I'll just say, Chenkid, you've been amazing competition. I know you have the best interests of the students at heart.
You guys both have one more if you'd like to use it. Okay. Next one, directed back at Eric. You are very popular today. Alrighty, Eric, why have multiple people have said they overheard you asking Chenkid to stop running? Is the directory.
Sorry, can you say it a little bit louder?
Yeah, sorry. Eric, why have multiple people have said they overheard you asking Chenkid to stop running? Question.
Not sure. I know Chenkid, we joke around a lot. We've done that in the SOC in front of other people. I know both campaigns have made jokes about the other ones, ceasing operations, or, you know, we're going to throw the election or something like that. It's not going to happen. I have no intention of that happening. I appreciate the healthy competition. And whatever the voters decide, and we will accept that.
Chenkid, do you have anything you'd like to say?
No rebuttals.
Okay. Next one for Chenkid to start. How have you engaged with students during this campaign?
So throughout the whole past 2-3 weeks, actually I've been talking to students as well. For this week, definitely this is the last week of the campaign, so I've been more active in campaigning, I would say. We have been tabling around to almost all colleges. Tomorrow, we're going to the Health and Human Services College as well. We're going to the RAC as well. So pretty much we have covered all the colleges except Fine Arts because Delton Center didn't allow me to table in Delton Center because I'm not the musical RSO. So that was pretty much it. And I spoke to a lot of RSOs as well, just to make sure that they get to know my campaign platform.
Eric?
Yeah, so we've been engaging multiple facets of this campus community. We've talked to a couple of different Greek life organizations. We've presented to CAB. We've talked to the Sports Club Council. We've been going to a lot of our campus partners and a lot of RSOs as well. We do have plans to table in more communal areas, dining halls, Bernard Center later in the week. That is in the docket. So we do plan on getting around campus to hear student concerns. We've been mainly focusing on RSOs, Greek life, staff partners, all the different agencies, try to get as wide a variety of background as possible on who we're talking to this past campaign season.
Rebuttals?
No.
Yep. Okay. Next one, Chenkid, directed at you, and then Eric, you'll get 1 minute to respond if you want. Chenkid, how can you boast about endorsements from current cabinet members who don't do their job? What does this say about your campaign?
That's a good one.
I'd like to remind everyone that these are not EPC questions.
Point being is that I present my campaign platform to them, and they're interested, and they would support me on that. I don't boast about it. I don't go around and say, "Oh, this person endorsed me." I reshare it because they have already done their job. They have endorsed me, so I definitely would share it a lot. But instead of like saying actively telling people, "Oh, do you know that I get this person's endorsement?" I don't do that. So I don't. If you want to feel that way, that I boast around or saying that I get endorsement from people who are not doing your work, I don't know about it. Thank you.
Do you have anything you like to? Worry not, Eric. You're back on the board with one directed at you. So, Eric, many say that your administration has done nothing this year in comparison to your predecessors. Why haven't you done more for students?
We have done a lot for students. I see Alexis and Adam in our cabinet snapping in back. Alexis and I have done a lot. We've had the largest ever mental health week is going to be coming up. Thank you, Charles and Alicia, for your work on that. We had our first ever WMU Trick or Treat event in October, trying to get students come back to campus, making them feel welcome, getting that positive vibe and atmosphere going around campus. We've been working with administration throughout this whole pandemic and endemic planning, mask mandates, vaccine mandates. It's all been discussed. A lot of it is behind the scenes. I will say that I think the difference between our administration and last is that we're having more conversations. We've introduced memorandums of agreements that we were talking with our partners before you just write bills, and that has gone a long way. We don't need to shout ourselves out when something has changed. The important thing is that positive change is happening, and you can see it everywhere, even if you don't know that WSA is behind it.
Shanka, do you have anything you'd like to say? Response? Okay. All right, Eric, once again, back at you to start. Eric, Alicia mentioned consistency of control as a strength. Consistency of control as a strength. Last year, you specifically used it as a negative during the election season. What's your response?
Yeah, so I think last year you need to take a look at what context that comment was said in. WSA was having very high turnover rates. There was a lot of burnout throughout the organization. And so a consistency in leadership, in my opinion, would not have been beneficial to the organization at that time. Here we've seen a lot more engagement. We've seen people are excited to come to WSA meetings. We've seen minimal turnover. So the leadership style and leadership efforts that Alexis and I and Alicia have been putting up is working. And we know students are getting engaged. I mean, our House of Representatives now is upwards of 65 members, I believe. And that's fantastic. So when you have leadership that is working, that is getting students engaged, keeping it around, in my opinion, is the best thing that you can do.
Thank you. No comments. You're good? Okay. Eric, we got you again, but might have to go find some Chang Kid ones to even this out. Eric, how do you feel considering your studies are less aligned with a politically charged position than Chang Kids?
I think that's the whole point about student government. I'm an aviation flight science major and an aviation management and operations major with a double minor in German and general business. I have no poli-sci in there anywhere. And I think that's one of the best things about student government is that you can have people coming from all different backgrounds to come and represent their students. Our campus community is built around a wide array of individuals.
Sorry, I'll give you your time back.
Our campus community is built around a wide array of individuals, and if we just limited WSA to those who are poli-sci majors, that would be unacceptable for a student government that is supposed to represent all aspects of our campus community.
Okay. 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 All right. On to the next one. Okay, this is not directed at anyone, so Chang Kid will start. What is your line between staying safe within your role and actively challenging the administration on issues that students have already been outspoken about?
I should do need clarification on that because I'm actually not sure where is this heading to. Can you clarify the question again? Like, can you...
I can read it again, yeah. What is your line between staying safe within your role and actively challenging the administration on issues that students have already been outspoken about?
Cool. So I'm not sure whether I should talk about my current role or my future role if I get elected, but I'm going to talk about my plans. So if I do get elected, I'm pretty much going to make sure there's more collaboration on campus. Pretty much I talk about the policy approach that I have in mind. It's called campus committee approach. So technically, we wouldn't just challenge and just fighting against the administration, but we're creating more safe space for students to voice out. So instead of just one-on-one talking to the argument that is more efficient, I would say that more inclusivity is much more of my focus and accessibility. So for example, like any random students who have an issue, they can actually hop onto this platform and just say that this, I have a struggle, I'm struggling with this issue, can we talk about it? Instead of like, we have the channel with so much bureaucracy of it, just to get one person to talk to the administration. So that's something that I would feel that things should be different and how I stay in line in that. So that's what I want to talk about.
Do you have anything you'd like to?
Can you repeat the question?
Oh, yeah, duh, this is not, I'm so used to the questions, I'm thinking like, do you have anything to, okay, yeah. The question is, what is your line between staying safe within your role and actively challenging the administration on issues that students have already been outspoken about?
Yeah, so I've already been doing this throughout the year with Alexis. There's been numerous things that have been happening that students might have expressed their opinions on that administration necessarily didn't fully agree with it. I think the most important thing that I've already talked about is asking questions. Admin does what they do for a reason. I've been in those meetings with Alexis. I've been meeting with the administrators. I have their phone numbers in their cell phone numbers. I can call Dr. Anderson and I've been like, hey, I know you asked for student input on it. We provided it. Administration's decision didn't really align with it. What was the rationale behind it? And trying to get more information. And once we have that information, we can go back and tell the students, and that fits into our Educate platform. We are as much of a resource to them as they are to us. And so once we can share that information, that's going to be really beneficial to students. I'll also say that something Alexis and I push for is org charts, so students can go and ask administration themselves their questions, and that's part of our Empower platform. Keeping that up.
Gotta stop. Going over time is baldphobic. Get that up. Yeah.
Can I add on a little bit stuff? So kind of staying online, I feel that it shouldn't be focused on just WSA. I think WSA should be more of a student government thing and focus on WSA, if that makes sense. Being more inclusive to all students is more important. For example, like I've actually, from my campaign team, I actually had students who didn't even know about WSA. I actually include them. I would just tell them, hey, are you interested in talking about student government? I say, we have a student government. In fact, in tabling, 2/3 of people we approach don't even know what student government is about WSA.
Sorry, I don't mean to stand this. So I haven't mastered cutting people off, as you remember from the vice presidential debate. Do you have anything?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'll just really quick add that as part of the governing process committee member, and one of the things that I was very proud that we were able to work into the new constitution is that every single student is automatically a member of WSA going forward. Making sure that WSA is an accessible platform for all students, making sure that all of them can come and talk to us and talk about their concerns. And that's going to be really huge moving forward. Getting that promotion out is going to be another challenge, but it will be there for them.
Rebuttal? Well, those were rebuttals. We have two more. Well, each one of you has one more. Two in total.
No.
Okay. All right, starting with Eric this time. Why haven't you asked students how they feel about Dr. Montgomery? Why do we treat him like it's a privilege to speak with him when he treats faculty terribly? Once again, I'd like to tell, this is not an opinion or anything of the EPC or the WSA. So, Montgomery, if you're looking at me, that's not my question.
Repeat the question after that?
Yeah. The question is, why haven't you asked students how they feel about Dr. Montgomery? Why do we treat him like it's a privilege to speak with him when he treats faculty terribly?
Because we've brought him into meetings. We have the opportunity for students to ask Dr. Montgomery themselves and share themselves what they think about the president. I know that also Dr. Montgomery is having office hours now, making it more accessible for students to carry their concerns directly to him. WSA's job is not to scream out against the leadership. The Board of Trustees is the one that hires and fires the president. The important thing is that we're able to maintain a working relationship to make sure that the students get what the students need. And so working with the president, whoever that may be, will be critical to WSA's success going forward. And I'll just, real quick, in my little bit of time that's left, I'll say again that we don't know what faculty is going through, and we cannot comment on how President Montgomery has been treating faculty. I don't have that background experience.
Can you get?
Oh, can you repeat the question first?
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Why haven't you asked students how they feel about Dr. Montgomery? Why do we treat him like it's a privilege to speak with him when he treats faculty terribly?
Yeah, so I know it's directed to Eric, is it? No?
No, it's directed
Directed to everyone?
directed to.
My bad. So technically, that's why my plan is out there to say that we need task force, because I want to create a safe space where actually any student can come in and just say, hey, I have an issue. Instead of like me, if I'm elected, or Alex, when he's elected as vice president, and there's a one-on-one thing. Instead, like I want to create an equal level playing field for all students to actually speak to demonstrators as well. I think that's something that I want to change up a little bit, is that every student can create a safe space to just voice out. It's not just about the WSA thing. I think that all students should have the eligibility and have the opportunity to even speak to administrators. I think that's something that I want to do differently.
Rebuttal?
Yeah, I'll just tack on that I agree with Chen Kid on that. Like I said, the new constitution, every student's a part of WSA. So bring President Montgomery and other administrators into our professional development meetings next year. Like I've already talked about, it's going to be one of the biggest things that we can do to make sure students have that interaction. And the best part is, students have already been able to plan that time out of their day for WSA. They don't need to go worry about planning task force meetings or meeting administrators elsewhere. It's already built into the schedule, making it accessible for students and administration.
Do you have anything?
Yeah. I'd like to clarify the task force, because Eric has been attacking me with that. So task force is technically students who are interested in that. I'm not forcing random students to saying that they want to have a meeting if they want to, this kind of thing. I'm focusing on more like if students want to create a safe space, they have a platform to do that. Instead of you having to approach WSA to speak to demonstrators. I think that's a very different thing as well. And task force allows to create those kind of platform to do that.
I was looking at my keyboard.
Can I get my rebuttal?
You do get one as well.
Okay. Real quick, Chen Kid, I am not attacking you or your task force idea. I just don't agree with it in full. I think that a task force still requires students to know about WSA. I don't know how many individuals would know about the Student Advisory Committee without being a member of organizations. And by having this at regularly scheduled times, available to all students through professional development meetings through WSA, I think would be a huge asset to our campus community.
Would you like?
How many seconds do I have? 30?
You would have 30. You each get 2 rebuttals, so this would be
I'll go.
one last one. Ready?
Yeah, so technically the whole idea of this is just to make sure that students are involved. If everyone just to know WSA, just to clarify, like when I tabled around campus throughout the whole week, technically no one knows WSA. It's out there. It's a fact, which is the reason that I want to change up. Why only a bunch of students knows about WSA and how WSA works? I want to expand those kind of knowledge throughout campus as well. I don't think it's just about us. I think it's about the whole campus that we should come together and work on things together as a team.
Sorry, time's up. Do you have anything?
No.
All right, that one's gone. Chankid, this one's directed at you this time. Chankid, many are worried that your 30 plans are too ambitious and distracting. You talk about how you hate buzzwords. How are these 30 not buzzwords? Whenever you're ready.
So 30 plans is out there mainly because I believe that I can achieve all of them. I've actually showed that when I done Project Reset. It was a big project as well, and it's technically a 2-person team job. Naren and I have actually completed within 3 weeks to complete the whole entire project, to revamp the whole allocations process with the whole website and everything as well, definitely with the help of some of the cabinet members. But to say that is how do I complete them, technically in that whole plan, you have a solution there as well. And definitely I will come with a bunch of great people in the cabinet to solve those issues as well. So.
You have anything you'd like to say? Yeah. All right. Go ahead.
I'll just say that nothing at this university moves fast enough that we can get through 30 things in 1 year. I have been working with administration on getting pride flags flown in the month of June and other flags flown to represent our affinity groups and underrepresented students on campus. And we still have not been able to do it because there's bureaucracy, there's red tape. In fact, we didn't even know who owned which flagpoles. So a lot of these ideas require a lot of work, a lot of cutting through red tape, and a lot of time. And that's why focusing on the 2 to 3 key issues like administration requested us to do last year is going to be crucial to the success of the WSA, making sure that we can do as much as we can as efficiently as possible.
So as I kind of like mentioned about it as well, again and again, is that if you're running for president and you keep thinking that those bureaucracy is gonna like restrict you from coming up with good ideas, I think that's gonna be different. And I'm here to kind of like propose a different kind of like approach, and I think that I can get it done, which is why I'm pitching out that I can get these 3 plans out there. It's gonna be a tough work, and I believe that I'm up for the task to do that.
You have anything?
Yeah, I'll just say that I am not against ideas and new ideas. I fully support them, but having it upon 2 people and a cabinet is just, in my opinion, an unrealistic proposition that would lead to a lot of burnout. Getting students educated about topics so they can go out and do it themselves, like we are promoting, engage, educate, empower. If you have a problem, you can go and see this person. That's what we're all about, making sure that students have the resources they need to solve their problems.
Okay. You want another one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, so it is definitely, to a lot of people, it's unrealistic, which is why I'm running, because I believe I can make it to the realistic part. I believe that I have the ideas and I have the commitment to do that. So that's kind of like my saying that I came up with the plan because I feel that students deserve to know the plans, and not just that coming out with like saying that, oh, I'm here to focus on these 3 parts when there are so many things that we should tackle on. And even if I can't tackle it on, definitely I have to admit that. But I would definitely provide a very proper report on why I can't tackle them.
You want one? Yeah. Okay. All right. Next one again is directed at Chankid. It takes a semester to be adjusted to WSA. Chankid and Alex, you both are graduating. How do you see this as a benefit to WSA, as there will need to be a new pres and VP?
So technically, just to highlight, I just joined WSA like 6 months ago, and I technically understand how WSA works, top down, I would say, especially true as the allocations vice chair. In fact, if I do not know how WSA work, I wouldn't even come up with a whole project reset to revamp the whole allocations process. So it's kind of like unrealistic if you say that I do not know about the process. So technically, Alex and I come to a combination that we know of whatever that's on-campus resources as well. So yeah.
I'll just say that whoever gets elected next year is going to have a bit of a learning curve to go through, especially with the new constitution. And so knowing the rules, procedures of the old way is not necessarily going to benefit either slate moving forward. What is going to benefit each slate is their ability to connect with students and administration to make sure that the students' needs are met. And the relationships that Alicia and I have with administration is going to be very beneficial to us. I've already been half external facing through this organization. I've been meeting with different administrators to ensure that current needs are being met, and I look forward to doing that in the future.
Rebuttals? No rebuttals. This next one is directed at Eric. Okay. Eric, how do you plan on addressing the fact that you can be cold and unsympathetic?
Good. So, as I said before, I really hope that this is a misconception about me. I feel like once you do get to know me a bit more, you agree that I am a fun person. I know how to have a good time. But I'd also say that I would agree that in the past that there have been times that I may have come off as cold. But I'm actually currently taking a management course right now, corporate aviation management. I've learned a lot over this past semester about leadership and the best way to lead a committee and organization. And I feel like I've implemented some of that change and the results are already being plentiful. And changing my leadership style to make sure that that persona, that stigma is going away is something I'm working on. I know it's not going to change overnight, it's going to take work, but I'm committed to doing it. And this is the first time I've had a formal education on how to best lead different groups. So I'm very appreciative of my education at Western for that.
I keep forgetting the 5. I don't know why. Do you have anything you'd like to say? Okay. We have time for one more question as the night is just flying by. And this one is directed at Chankid. So Chankid, you'll be going first here. Chankid, or Chang, it says here. Who came up with your platform? Was it you, Alex, or both of you?
Technically, both of us, we actually discussed this, and we came up with that our voice, our WMU suits what we need right now on campus. I came up with a lot of ideas and everything, fluffy stuff, but one thing I chose Alex to be my vice president because he has the focus. He knows what WS has been doing, and he kind of guided me and say, hey, we kind of need to settle down on making sure that we amplify student voices. My campaign platform is about creating a safe space for students to voice out. It isn't just about just being a messenger to students, but making sure that students are actually at the same level playing field with WSA as well, and they're able to join us and they're able to voice out whenever they need to.
Do you have anything you'd like to say, Aaron? Okay. We do have time for more. But someone in here is begging that I use their question, and I think that's funny, so I'm using that one. This one is, what is everyone's graduation date? We're starting with Eric. Please pick this. What did I say?
Spring 2023. So, and I know Alicia's is a couple years down the road. So if we are elected, you will have us throughout the entire year. We look forward to building relationships with students. I know I've worked so hard the first 3 years that I'll get to cut my course load down next year, 12, 13 credits a semester, and make time for this. I won't be overworked, I won't be overburdened, and I look forward to being your student body president if elected.
Okay.
So my undergrad graduation date would be end of this year, but I'm pursuing my accelerated master's program, so I think I'll be sticking around, as I mentioned, my opening remarks, so I'll be graduating as a grad student end of next year. So, yeah.
Any rebuttals? Okay.
And I don't know how to argue your graduation date.
You're wrong.
No, you're wrong.
There's one last one here that is kind of less intense, as we've had a very intense line of questions. It is directed at Eric, but I will direct it at both of you, but we'll start with Eric. Eric, how are your culinary skills?
Anybody that doesn't know me, I love to cook. I make creme brulee. I love it. I like baking cakes a lot. I do a really good filet mignon with mushroom sauce, if I may say so myself. I also have my own cake decorating kit that I love to do on the side. I bring treats in for cabinet every once in a while. So they're decent. There's always room for improvement. I can improve in anything. But I'm very proud of my culinary skills, so thank you for asking.
How about you? How are your culinary skills?
I actually do not have culinary skills, but I have cooking skills. My mom is a good cook. I followed her quite some time. In fact, I don't kind of interested to probably cook some Malaysian food for you guys. Who knows? Who knows? If once I'm elected, probably we can have a Malaysian party night. I don't know, for everyone.
Rebuttal real quick?
You can rebuttal if you don't.
Not really rebuttal. Just even if not elected, can we still have a cabinet
Sure.
culture night? That'd be awesome.
Sure. Malaysian food is the best food. Yeah. I'm gonna put it out there first.
I guess I have to taste it first. I
Yeah.
look forward to that.
Sure.
Meal.
All right, with that, we're going to move into closing remarks. Eric went first, so Chang Kid will go first for closing remarks. This is 1:30.
Okay, cool. So I actually want to share my closing remark about a kind of a story that I read in Herald today. There was a new release. So first, a student named Madison. She's a biomedical science major student. She stayed in Western Heights. She actually tested COVID positive earlier this semester. And when she got her result, she approached Syndicus, and Syndicus says that, we don't know where you need to go for the quarantine down. So because that's not under the jurisdiction, they say. So she approached Student Affairs bumped her back to Syndicus Health Center, and after Syndicus Health Center, bumped her back to the Housing and Department Office, and Housing Department Office bumped her back to Syndicus Health Center, and Syndicus Health Center said, you need to move to Valley 1, because she's an out-of-state student. So that's kind of something that I want to run on the platform, saying that, hey, it's not us being just a messenger. It's not just about here to educate or just engage students and just tell them the resources that we have. My pitch is that it's time for us to rethink how government should work in terms of a more collaborative process. For example, the project we set is about combining whatever we know about WSA, Student Center, and the OS, Office of Student Engagement. Try to compile one-stop shop resources for students. That's sort of kind of my campaign platform about collaborating and make sure that students have a better kind of approach of understanding how the campus work instead of just departmentalism and everyone's on silo. So we're trying to move forward from that pre-COVID model of how student government should work. So that's what Alex and I is running, and I hope that you guys will vote for us and bet on that.
Thumbs up. Sorry. Very strict on time here.
First of all, I'd just like to thank the Election Promotion Committee for hosting the debate tonight. I'd like to thank all the students who submitted questions. I really appreciate it. Also, if you'd like to know more about Alicia's and my campaign, please be sure to follow us at WMU.123 on Instagram. If you had questions tonight that you weren't able to ask here, DM us. We'd be happy to answer them. I will say that Alicia's and my campaign platform to engage, educate, and empower students is very similar to Check Kids in that we are going to be collaborative moving forward, collaborative with students, collaborative with the administration. And I hope we've made that clear tonight. So just a reminder, vote next week. Polls open Monday at 8 a.m. and close Friday at 5 p.m. And don't just vote for us, but vote for the new Constitution that just passed today as well. And with my remaining time, I just want to make a quick public service announcement. I know St. Patrick's Day is tomorrow, so happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone. I know that usually at St. Patrick's Day, a lot of drinking happens. I want to inform everyone that Campus Safety is actually going to be having free rides available to students from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Last call at 2:30. So please be safe out there tomorrow. Have a great time. I hope you're all having a bronco fabulous Western Wednesday. And thank you again for being here and submitting your questions.
All right, with that, it's over. Feel free to ask them questions outside of this. I'd like to thank other EPC members. I don't know if you want your name said, but Nick, not Nick, in the back, who's been helping, keeping everything good. If you have questions for the EPC or how this went, if you'd like to rate it, please come up to me and talk to me personally, or you can email me. But I'm not going to give you the email, so don't email me. But that said, anyone who wants to buy me an alcoholic beverage is free to do so. But we're done. And thank you all so much for coming out.
Kid?